What up, everyone? Another episode of the SoleSavy podcast. I've been on a tear. I disappeared for like 2 months to take care of a non-sleeping child, and now I'm just like back to back to back guests. Another special episode. We have a member. Oh, you're a professional. You're a professional. You're a champion. Walker, introduce yourself for the people and tell them who you are.
Yeah, Walker Buehler. I'm starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and excited to get on here. I was a member of SoleSavy before that was a big deal. So
Yeah, you. I wanna say joined. Oh, I should have looked it up before this, but you were like 2020. You were early 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, I think we had just gotten back out to LA for the start of our COVID season to start back up, and I joined. So had been June of 2020, July, something like that.
You're a Nike athlete who's hitting the outlets in the clearance stores because you still want to find a good steal.
That's right.
Anything come to mind when you think back, or even recently, that you kind of popped in a store and been like, damn, I can't believe I found this?
No, the biggest thing now is that the Prestos are coming back. It kind of has taken me back because back then, I remember the Nike Presto being the first shoe, or the shoe that I wanted the worst when I still couldn't wear a men's size. So that was like the big deal. The only ones they made in kids back then were the Prestos that had like the cage over them.
Right.
That tied.
Yeah.
And I still wore like a youth size at the time.
How big is your sneaker collection now? Because I think one time we zoomed.
Yeah, it's gotten up to pretty good now. I got pretty lucky with Nike, and we were renegotiating my deal, right, which is always kind of a fun deal.
Yeah.
And the money stuff is great. And I remember telling my agent, like, I don't care about the money. Just tell them I want to be able to get whatever shoes I want. So they put me on some list called the limited release list. And
All right.
I've gotten taken care of pretty well that way. We have when you're a Nike athlete, there's a site that we have a login to, and that's where you spend like your merchandise money.
Right.
I don't know if this is exactly how it works, but my kind of understanding of doing it for a couple of years is that if the shoe will ever be on the elite site, they charge you for it. And if it won't be, then they don't, because I'm on that list. That's my kind of like guess of how the thing works. I've never really asked.
Is it 2020, the pandemic, the first year pandemic you guys
Yeah.
won?
Yep.
Walk me through that, because that has to be the most insane experience to go from like normal life to pandemic lockdown, thinking, hey, I got a lot of time on my hands, maybe I'll start buying more sneakers, I'll join SoleSavy, to winning a championship. Because that would have happened December?
No, we won at the end of October, early November.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to remember, because the NBA season was all messed up too.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, for the first couple months of it, we were kind of, nothing was different than anyone else, right? We all were kind of locked up and whatever. We were in Phoenix when everything kind of started shutting down. My wife and I rented a van and literally drove all the way across the country back home to Kentucky, and then kind of packed it in for a while. I remember being so worried about having food. It was just when all this kind of pandemonium started, right?
Yeah.
That we bought a big Yeti cooler and had it full of meat that we were able to find in Phoenix, and drove it all the way back to Kentucky. So we're at home for a couple months, and then got to go back out to LA, but that was a whole different deal. Our team, we were getting tested every single day for a while. And then the season, we played 60 games, no fans, really interesting experience in itself. And then went to the bubble. So we stayed in a hotel in Texas for like 34 straight days, I think it was.
Yeah. Ugh. I say that because I mean, like, I have a kid now, so I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I could do that, but you got to do what you got to do for the championship. But was it weird playing with, I mean, I know it was, but like, how weird was it playing with no one in the stadium? Because that's just like eerie.
It was super weird. Just, you don't have that same kind of, I've always said, like, I think for me, at least, adrenaline comes from like the potential for being embarrassed, like, and having people there is just not the same on TV. Like, having people sitting there watching you and knowing that you really like could fail and get embarrassed has always been like a big thing for me. So I didn't like it at all. Some guys enjoyed it. They just thought it was kind of go play baseball and a little bit different. But I definitely was very, very thankful that the people of Texas let some people in that stadium for the playoffs.
Favorite moment from the championship season?
I mean, just the end of it, the whole thing. It was interesting though, because, the Lakers had the same problem where we didn't get to like do the whole thing, right? Like no parade, no this or that, no like go to Disney World, no go to Vegas, none of that stuff. So, but it was cool, man. I really enjoyed the playoff bubble experience where we were in the hotel, even though, we had both of our dogs there with us and sitting in a hotel with two dogs. For me, it was a lot. I can't imagine my wife being there all day while I was at the field, but no, it was pretty cool. And I felt like I was at summer camp. Like I got to walk out my backyard, look to my right, and, three of my teammates are in the next three rooms and go eat breakfast and hang out. So I think I was probably in the minority of that, but I loved it.
Yeah, I feel that. Is there any other sneakerheads on the team, or are you the guy?
We got some guys that like them. Jock Peterson was a big one. He's not with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Jock and I were big about it. Matt Kemp was pretty big on it.
Okay.
And then last year we had 3 Jordan athletes, so they get pretty good, but I think they almost get hooked up to the point where they're not really sneakerheads. They just kind of wear what they get.
It just shows up. Yeah. How many cleats do you go through a year? Because I always ask this to the NBA guys, and I think they're like ripping through it, but it sounds like you maybe 2 or 3 a year.
No, I mean, so like for this season, I got to design 2 pairs of cleats, but I'll get like 40 pairs of those. So 20 and 20.
Nice. Oh, okay.
That'll be my cleat for the year, but like they all look the same. I just run through them. If I have a game that I'm really mad about, I'll just throw the cleat away. I imagine that it's the cleat's fault, and
it's 100% the cleat's fault. It's always the cleat's fault.
So we tinkered around with some stuff for this year. I'm really proud of the ones this year. Like what you were saying, the easy one or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember the Travis Scott lows that they said we're going to release that didn't? They were like white, off-white with a blue swoosh.
Yes, but they were like, you said lows?
Yeah, they were lows. They had like an off-white bottom.
Yeah.
So that my home cleat is a direct representation of that cleat or of that shoe.
That's so cool that they'll just do it. They'll just make it. Who is your competition in the MLB?
So the word is kind of the OG of having a crazy collection is Jeremy Guthrie, who pitched for the Royals. He was very well known for being one of the first guys to wear tennis shoes transitioned into cleats.
Okay.
I've heard really good things about John Jay's collection. Former outfielder. And then up close and personal, I've seen Matt Kemp's kind of collection. He was pretty impressive. He also, his wasn't all just tennis shoes either. He was big into like the designer boots and stuff like that. And I kind of respected his game on that as well. So
nice.
I think for us, the biggest thing, like we don't know as much off the field, but guys who have continuously had SMUs year and year and year, and seeing guys that do a really good job with that is also like a huge thing.
It was a pleasure. Tell the people where they can find you on social, and we'll leave it there.
Buehler's Day Off. I think it's Buehler's Day Off 21 on Instagram. I think it's just Buehler's Day Off on Twitter. My wife has told me that it's time to start doing a shoe highlight. So maybe start doing that.
Like I know you're a sneakerhead, but doesn't really show on the social.
Yeah, I know. I used to put them on the stories all the time, but you get stuff that comes, before they come out and stuff. I just didn't want to rub anybody's nose in it. The only kind of sneakery thing I do is on start days I wear all black, and I wear a pair of shoes that I haven't worn before. So
I see that.
My one thing.
I like the tradition. But again, I appreciate you taking some time out to chat with us, let people know a little bit into your collection and sneakers and MLB and all that fun stuff. Again, congratulations on winning the championship. Probably feels like a decade ago now.